guys, it's Andres Lunar King here. This will be my first story time video. I decided to do a video about, or do a story time about basically how I'm single now and I'm no longer with my ex-boyfriend. If you guys have watched my previous videos before about my poetry, there's been, you know, like a few videos where I kind of tell my backstory on how my ex met and like, you know, a little bit of our dynamic and stuff like that. The beginning of our relationship, like it was very, it was really nice. Like I called it the honeymoon stage. It was really nice. Like we got along very well. You know, we were always laughing, goofing around or whatever. And then our first argument, I think our first argument, if I could remember correctly, was about this guy that I used to work with. His name was, he liked me and I used to like him a little bit, and then like we just, I don't know, I had a soft spot for him because he wasn't a bad guy. It was just that, you know, he had his own things and I had my bitchy attitude sometimes too, so like, you know, whatever. But like he didn't understand me, so like he just thought that I was like, I don't know, like he thought that it was more than what it seemed when it really wasn't, you know. And like I stopped talking, and like I told him certain things about like I just wanted him to feel secure and I didn't want him finding out, like going through this phase and like the stage where we would be like awkward around each other, and he would literally be the only person that I didn't talk to at work. And I was like, I don't want him to keep feeling like he's singled out. And like, you know, we worked together because obviously if we didn't work together, like I would have never gave a fuck because I know that I wasn't gonna see him, and if I did I would just ignore him. But like we're at work, like, you know, like if I'm working in a shift with him and we have to speak, like I don't want it to be like this awkward thing, and didn't seem to understand that. So we got into it because of that. And it was just like a lot of little dumb shit that we used to go through, that we used to get arguments about. But you know, fast forwarding into like our real major, like the first time that I broke up with him. So I think this was around, I would say maybe, I don't even think we were dating for more than like a month or two. So basically, okay, so I'm very intuitive and I see things in my dreams. Like, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm Raven Simone and shit, but like, or Raven Baxter, I should say, but I definitely see things in my dreams. So like that's one of my gifts. So like in my dreams, I kept like seeing, like it kept showing me that he was like talking to somebody else or other people. Like one time I had a dream that he was like flirting or entertaining with some guy on Instagram. Then there was a few other things, and like, you know, I came into that relationship like already kind of having my insecurities because I've been through a lot when it comes to guys. Like guys always seem to like play me, you know. I already had my guard up. So like, you know, that was something that I was trying to work on because like obviously like I can't take that out on any guy. Like, you know, I could potentially be missing out on a good guy just because of my insecurities. So I was just like, you know, like I try to like, you know, tone that down or like bury it. But like, you know, usually when I dream stuff like that back to back, like it usually means something. And I was like, I don't know if this is just my own insecurities or if it's like really my gift trying to tell me something, or like my ancestors, my spirit guides, like I don't know. So, you know, like the first time that I dreamt it, like it bothered me, but I let it slide. The second time I was like, okay, like it was really bothering me. And then the third time I was like, okay, I gotta say something. So I asked him straight up. I was like, hey, like, you know, like, because he knew like that I'm a witch and that I practice magic and like I have gifts. So I told him, I was like, hey, you know, I keep having dreams about this particular thing, and I just want to know, like, I just want you to be honest with me, like, are you telling other people? And you know, he flat out said no. And you know, he was honest with me about certain things. He was like, yeah, like I used to have like this like nasty private Snapchat where I would like post nudes and like I would be in these group chats and oh my god, my ring, whatever. And you know, and then he was just like, yeah, guys used to take me like I was like, he was like, I don't do that anymore because like guys used to take me like I was a tool or whatever. Like they would only want me for like, you know, his package and his body. So I was just like, okay, like I just want to make sure that we're on the same page because, obviously we're dating and I do want something serious. Like, if you're talking to other people, that's fine, but like I don't want to partake in that. And, we could just both go on our merry way, basically, in other words. So he kept reassuring me that he was only talking to me and that he wants to, continue talking to me, that we're dating, that I'm his man, blah, blah, whatever. Like, okay, cool. So I think it was literally that night before because I stayed the night. Mind you, okay, and then this is the reason too why I kept having these dreams. So, sorry, I had to backtrack. So, like, okay, so the way he would handle his phone, like, so, well, first of all, he had two phones. That was one red flag for me. And I asked him about it, and he was just like, "Oh, like, one wasn't like connected, which was true. Like one didn't have a different number. It was just that he would use it. He had two phones. He would take one with him to work, and then the other one he just liked the camera better, so he would take pictures on that. And like, obviously, how iPhones are, and I don't know if other phones are like this, but obviously, like with the Wi-Fi, you could use it. So that's how he would use that phone. So I asked him about that because that was a red flag for me, and he explained it to me. So I kind of like let it go. I was like, okay, whatever. And then so then that was one red flag, and then the other red flag was the way that he would handle his phone. So like with the other phone, what would he do? Child, this was so long ago that I can't even remember. But I just didn't like the way that he would handle his phone. Like he would just be really sneaky with his phone. Like he would take his phone with him to the other room. Like, he would put his phone face down, like little stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like, what are you trying to hide? So, okay, so then the next day, like I said, I had stayed the night. So like the next morning he had to go get a haircut. So he was like, you're more than welcome to come with me or you could stay here, but I gotta get my haircut like super early in the morning or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's fine, like go get your haircut, like I'll just sleep in or whatever. And he was like, okay, cool. So the reason how I got okay, so he left his second phone, so I got into his second phone. The reason why I had got into his second phone was because he had given me his passwords. So he gave me his passwords and he was like, I don't got nothing to hide, blah, blah, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so he gave me his passwords, I gave him his. He didn't want to take mine because he trusted me. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I had the password to his phone. So into his social media, to his Instagram and stuff. I went to his phone and I was like, I went to his Snapchat. He had went to go get a haircut. So I was like, I had another dream again. And I was like, okay, I gotta go through his phone. So I went through his phone, I went through his text messages, I went through his Snapchat, and I just found a whole plethora of bullshit. So I was just like, fuck no, like, like he was posting naked pictures on Snapchat, like, which, to be completely honest, I didn't care so much about that. Like, I cared, but I didn't care. It was just like the extent of like how it happened. So, okay, like, I don't have a problem with people posting nudes because I post nudes sometimes on my Snapchat. Like, I don't give a fuck about that, but I'm single. Like, I don't care about posting nudes. Like, if you want to post nudes and you want to be sexual and liberating with your body, like, that's your body. But, like, I feel like when you're in a relationship and you don't let the other person know and, like, the other person is unaware, like, that could come across very shady. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a mutual thing and I'm aware that you post nudes and it's like you're just for fans, like, okay, make your money. Like, that's fine. Like, but you're just posting nudes to just get attention and have dudes hit you up, and then that's when I'm gonna have a problem. And that's what it was literally for. Like, he was doing it for attention. So not only are you posting nudes, but like he had dudes hitting him up. So then that was another strike, right? I'm like, okay. Then he's entertaining the guy, and then it went to even further that he gave the guy that was like commenting on his nudes. He gave the guy his number, and I'm like, okay, so you posted nudes, now you entertaining another dude, and now you gave this dude your number. Like, you couldn't keep it on Snapchat. Like, you had to give him your number while we were still dating. And mind you, this wasn't like months ago. This wasn't like weeks ago. This was literally in the same week. Like, so it was so recent, and I'm like, okay, cool. And full disclaimer too, like I just wanted to say that like I wasn't perfect in the relationship. Like, obviously I had my moments where I wouldn't communicate certain things and I would like get in my head, and I did have my insecure moments. But like when it comes to like my core values, when it comes to like, you know, actually being faithful in a relationship. Like I never stepped out on for him. Some things were questionable. Like I always gave him the opportunities to go through my phone and to go through my social media. Like the only thing that I probably did was like guys' pictures, but it never went to anything to another extent. And like I could understand how some people might find that disrespectful, but I never had a problem with him liking guys' pictures. It's just like if you go a step above that and actually entertain a guy, that's when I have a problem, because like social media is for that. You like people's pictures. Like obviously I never went to a guy's like page and started liking all of the pictures, but if I saw a guy that was cute, or if I liked their picture, I liked it, but it was like nothing like that serious. But like to him, he took that as like, oh well, I don't know if you slid into the DMs or X, Y, and Z. Like I could understand why you would think that, but like I'm not like you know what I mean? So it's just like, and I've never given you reasons to think that, but you have, because you have played me. So that was the difference. You know, and like another disclaimer is like, guys, don't ever continue a relationship if you don't trust him. Like if you don't trust your partner, because that was my mistake. Like I already didn't trust him from the get-go. Well, since he first like broke my heart, and like I was starting to trust him again a little bit, but then like I just kept thinking back to like the moment where he stepped out on me, and like I should have walked out. Like I should have just like broke up with him, well, stayed broken up from the first time, you know. But I was trying to like forgive him and like trying to see if like things could actually improve, you know what I mean? But like having your boyfriend or your girlfriend's password and stuff like that, like that's not necessary, you know what I mean? Like if you need to have that, then you already know right there that there's no trust. So like that was also my mistake. Like I should have walked away. So like obviously not everything was put on him. Like I had my faults in the relationship as well. So I grabbed my shit and I left. And mind you, like my friend Sam Renedas was living near him around the time. Like he was like probably like because I don't drive, so like he was like 2 stops away from like where he lived at on the train or whatever. So I got on the train and I went to Sam's house. Like I was blowing Sam's phone up and I was like, it's an emergency, like I need to talk to you, but whatever, like please open the door, like whatever. So you know, I explained to him whatever, like I was crying, like whatever. So then like he's like, babe, where you at, and I didn't pick up. And then he like, I finally picked up and I was like, what? And he was just like what's going on? And I was like, don't talk to me, like you've been lying to me. You told me that you weren't talking to other people and you had been, blah blah whatever. And he was just like, what are you talking about? And like I was like, you've been talking to other people, like even you, like you talk about your friends, like the way you talk to your friends and stuff like that. So like, you know, he was showing me a whole bunch of text messages, like trying to plead his case, saying like, you know, that he talks to all his friends like that, and that is just like terms of endearment, that he's not talking to anybody. But he didn't have anything to say about the Snapchat. So I was like, okay, besides that, what about the Snapchat? So then that's when he wanted to like apologize and be like, you know what, like, you know, I don't take anything on Snapchat seriously. Like it's just like a porn thing to me. Like it's not that serious. But you know, I could understand how, you know, you would take it. And to be honest, like if I saw that on your phone, like I would be upset too. You know, I was just like, okay. So that whole day passed by. Like I was just hanging out with Sam, and then I was like, okay, like, you know, everybody has like their little kinks, I should say. So I was like, okay, like, I don't know if he's physically cheating, and not to justify that action, because I was still cheating, because we were together. But I was just like I don't like this. So we talked, and you know, he deleted his Snapchat. You know, I still had his passwords and stuff like that. And you know, he just reassured me that, you know, he wasn't gonna do it again, and that he wasn't gonna be on Snapchat anymore, and blah blah whatever, and like X, Y, and Z. So I'm like, okay. So I forgave him. You know, we stayed together. I'm like, okay, cool. So then, I think months later, we got into another argument. Not even months later. I think it was like weeks later, we got into another argument, because so he would have this guy named Jason, one of his friends, or who knows if that's really his friend or if they messed around before, I don't fucking know. He would pick him up sometimes from work, like when we would close, And I lived like around the corner from H&M, and like he lived further, like probably like 30 minutes away. So, you know, he did just at the time he didn't have a car, and he knew how to drive, but he just didn't have a car. So, he like Jason would sometimes come pick him up. I'm like, okay, I never met Jason, but whatever. So like one time that we closed together, I'm sitting here waiting for my I think it was my Lyft or my Uber. I requested a Lyft or Uber because I had missed my bus or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I had to take a Lyft or Uber. And he was waiting for his ride from Jason, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So then me and him like were kind of like had a disagreement during the day. So we were just kind of like not fucking with each other for a little bit. Like we just had like a little spat. So you know, so whatever. So then he was just like as like Jason came to pick him up, and he got up and he was just like, enjoy the rest of your night. And I was like, yeah, you too. He got into Jason's car, and he never said, oh, come meet my boyfriend, or he never said, oh, Luis, come meet Jason, like blah blah whatever. Because you would think like that would like be common courtesy, and that would be some reassurance for me, because like obviously because of what we already went through, like he didn't bother at all, and he knew that I already kind of had an issue with him picking him up, because I'm just like, who the fuck is he? Like you never introduced me to this guy. Because it's like I feel like if the tables were turned and some random guy that's supposed to be my friend was like picking me up to take me home, he would feel some type of way, especially if I never met him and he never introduced me. So I felt like that would have been the perfect opportunity for him to introduce me to him, but it wasn't that. Like, so I came at his neck because of that. He didn't understand it. Then he kind of understood it. So then that was another red flag, and I'm like, okay. Okay. So with social media, so this was like a major other thing. So like, you know, I would like after, because I had eventually left. This was around August. I had eventually left H&M and I started another job. So like, you know, like I would post stuff about him and like stuff on our stories. Like I never actually physically posted a picture of us or of him on my actual like page, but like I would always post this on our story, like my story, and I would always tag him, but whatever. Like I would always showcase our relationship, and he would never do the same. And I was just like, okay, like I, you know, confronted him about it. I was just like, hey, like, you know, I don't want to make this a big deal, but like, you know, like I just don't understand like why, you know, anytime that I showcase you on my social media, like sometimes you acknowledge it, sometimes you don't. And like, you know, like how with friends, like you post stuff about each other and like you reshare it or whatever. Like he would never do that. And like that was another red flag for me, because I'm like, what are you like hiding? Like what are you like, are you ashamed of me? Like are you trying to hide me? Like what is it? And you know, like he kept giving me alibis about it. He was just like, oh, like I don't really post people on there, and it's like everything for him was like not a big deal. Like he just didn't think it was a big deal. But then he was like, you know, like then he kept saying like, you know, I'll start posting you. Like I don't have a problem with posting you. I just don't post anybody. So then like as time went by, I started noticing like I'm just like, okay, but you do. Like I started going through his page and I'm like, you do, because he kept saying like, oh, I only post people when it's their birthdays and shit like that. And I'm just like, so I went through his page and I'm like, there's people on there that you don't even talk to anymore, that you're not even friends with. So you have videos and pictures of them, but you can't have a video or a picture with your boyfriend to showcase your boyfriend or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he had went on vacation with his best friend, the one in the beginning of the story that Sam was trying to talk to. So they went to New Orleans. I don't know what made me bring it up again, but I brought up the social media thing, and then he was just like, okay, whatever. So he finally posted a picture of me, right? So then this is when everything like started snowballing. So he posted the picture, and you know, he was getting likes, blah, blah, whatever. Then magically the picture disappeared, right? Like it deleted itself. And I'm like, okay. So the picture deleted itself, and I was just like, he was just like, oh, I don't know what happened to the picture. And then magically, like, two of his other pictures deleted, like a picture of his mom and then a random picture of him. Mind you, like, they weren't even, like, you know how you have, like, the three pictures, like, together? Like, it wasn't even three pictures. Like, it was just, like, my picture, which was, like, the first one on his page. And then, like, his mom picture was just, like, kind of, like, 4 or 5 pictures down and then another random picture. And I'm just like, okay. So So another little backstory about the whole incident with the picture deleting. So I had lied to him because we were on the phone and I was upset with him, and then we were trying to figure out like why the pictures magically got deleted. So like I had lied to him because I was trying to get back into his account because I had his passwords and like it wouldn't let me. So I felt like he changed his password. So I lied to him and told him that like something was wrong with my IG as well, but like there really wasn't nothing wrong with my IG. Like I think I was just playing mind games with him, because I felt like he was playing me again. And to this day, like he doesn't know that nothing was ever wrong with my IG. And anytime that we would talk about that situation, what I would remind him, like, okay, like these are the reasons why I don't trust you. He would bring it up, like, oh, well, your IG messed up too, so I don't know why you don't believe me that those pictures, well, that picture got deleted. But there was nothing wrong with my IG. Like, I'm not proud of that moment about lying to him, but like, I just had a petty moment. So then, yeah, so he was just like, oh, yeah, but whatever. And like, I don't know. I know there's some other bullshit stories. So I'm like, okay, so me and him like were like at odds, basically like his whole vacation. Then when he posted me, I started to notice this one of his friends who was like constantly watching my stories, right? And I'm like, okay, like this random guy, but whatever. Then I was like, okay, so then I saw that the guy, like the guy was starting to post stuff on his stories talking about some like, if you have to choose between me and somebody else, I don't want like really sad stuff. And then he kept posting stuff like, oh, the tea and like all of this random shit. So I'm thinking like, okay, like is these one of like your random dudes that used to like you, or like is this somebody that you were talking to while you were talking to me? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So like I told Sam about it, and like Sam is very like rowdy. Like he will defend me. I would defend him too, but like he does not give a fuck. And like it was just like, oh, I'm about to mess with this boy. Yeah. So like Sam was like messing with him on Instagram, and like, you know, obviously I'm not proud of this moment. Like I kind of had like a little mean girls moment because I really thought that this guy was like throwing shots at me and shots at my relationship. I really thought that this was like one of Dex's side hoes, or like somebody that he was talking to before me. Like I don't know. I had brought that up to him, and then Dex was like super pissed off, and he was just like, "Oh no, that's my friend, and like you don't trust me, and blah blah whatever." And I'm just like, "Oh my god." So that was that. We got over that. He posted me, and he posted me on his stories. Mind you, he said he thought he was gonna post me again on his actual like page, and he never did. So then fast forward from that again. So then that was in August or September. So then now fast forwarding to October. So October comes around and I'm getting the same dreams again. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? So I had the same dreams again, confronted him about it again. No, I didn't even confront him. I went through his phone. I was just like, I'm not even gonna ask him shit. So I went through his phone, and I just went through his text because I was like, I'm not gonna, like, he doesn't get on, like, I could see that he's not on Snapchat. So I went through his text. Because, mind you, the reason why I went through his phone again was because he still kept handling his phone the same way. Like, he would literally take his phone, y'all. Like, anytime, this is his phone, right? He would take his phone. Like, if he would come stay the night, he would take his phone with him to the bathroom. Mind you, he's not listening to music. Like, and mind you, he would always say, like, oh, I take my phone with me to the bathroom because, like, I like to, like, play my game and, like, watch videos while I'm, like, using the toilet or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, because I do that, right? He would come back with his phone, like he would not even sleep next to his phone, like he would throw his phone on the floor. Like if he, like it's just anytime that he would go to his bathroom, to the bathroom, he would take his phone with him. Like he would never leave his phone around me, right? And like he thought that he would be slick by saying like, oh well, I don't have nothing to hide because you have my passwords. But like my biggest alibi would always be, well, okay, you gave me the passwords to your phone, but I never had access to your phone. So what was the you gave me the freaking passwords for me to just, it was a shut me up thing. Like it was to reassure me, but no, like you thought that you were gonna outsmart me because you gave me the passwords to your phone, but it was just like, okay, for what? Because you don't leave your phone around. So like I said, he would take his phone with him literally everywhere. Like anywhere that he went, he would take his phone. So you know how I said like he would never leave his phone around me. So it was this one time that he actually did leave his phone around me, and it's because he had to go do something downstairs when I was at his house. But like he would keep his phone like when he would sleep on the floor, he would keep his phone like under the bed, like so I wouldn't see it, so it wouldn't be noticeable. And I remember that he would do that. So like, you know, I think I was like either like halfway sleeping or like laying down. Like he thought that I was sleeping. So I guess he figured like, oh, let me just leave my phone, like whatever. But I wasn't. Like I already had it in my head that I was gonna check his phone, like if he left it under the bed. And thankfully he did, and I went through it, and then that's how it happened. And then another reason why I thought that was a red, well, obviously because of what we already went through, and that reason why I thought it was a red flag, because anytime that we would talk on the phone and he would be home, he would always say, oh, I don't care about my phone, I would leave it around anywhere. But like, why is it that when I'm around, when Luis is around, your phone is glued to your hip? And then on top of all the other red flags, and then on top of you already playing me the first time, it was just like, no, it was too much. So yeah, so that's the reason why I went through his phone the second time. So then the second time I found that he was text messaging this guy, Billy, right? So I'm like, okay. So this time I wasn't even like mad. I was just like mad at myself. I was like, okay, like the famous saying, once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't know if that applies to every man or every female, but like old habits die hard. Came into the room and like he was trying to like, cause he's very goofy, so he was trying to like hug me and like be goofy with me, and I was just like, stop, like, and he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, we should just be friends. Like, I was like, honest, like, I'm like, I don't think that you're ready for a relationship. Like, let's just be friends. Like, and he's like, why are you saying that? And I was like, because you're talking to somebody again. Like, you're doing this again. And he's like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, go through your phone. And he was like, he just kept like doing his alibis per usual. So then he explained the whole Billy thing. And I was like, okay, so who's Billy? And he's like, oh, Billy is a guy that I used to like, and that we were talking, and then he really broke my heart, and like now he's trying to come back around, and I'm honestly just like playing him, like I'm just doing like a little vengeance thing on him. And I'm like, are you fucking joking? I was like, so you're sitting here because your ego was hurt and you were pissed off and you're still hurt because of this guy. So instead of you trying to heal yourself, instead of you trying to like work on our relationship, you're willing to sacrifice our happiness and sacrifice our relationship over somebody who played you. So now you're playing me because he played you. Okay. And he was just like, well, you know, like he just kept like apologizing. He was just like, you know, like when it comes to like my feelings and when I'm hurt, like I'm very vindictive and like I do have like this dark side of me and blah whatever. And I'm like, okay. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm like, this is literally the last chance that I'm gonna give you. Like, if you do anything else to me remotely when it comes to my trust or our like our relationship, like I'm done. I was like, you need to text him right now and you need to let him know that you're in a relationship and that this is nothing serious. So he texted Billy, nipped that in the bud. I'm like, okay, cool. After that, like it was really difficult for me to like even trust him anymore because I'm just like what the fuck, right? So that was October. So fast forward to November. So around that time, like, you know, we were still having our little spats sometimes. And like, you know, like I wasn't really honestly feeling him. Like I was feeling him, but I wasn't feeling him. And like I felt like he felt that. So then that's how he tried to like make it up to me. So he threw me a surprise birthday party. Mind you, I don't like surprises, but you know, I was surprised. So birthday party, but whatever. He invited like my really good, like all of my best friends, all of my good friends. He tried to invite my mom, but my mom couldn't make it. So you know, it was very sweet, whatever. He had invited his best friend Dom. I'm sitting like, this is me. This is my best friend Sam. My mentor and friend Lamar is to Sam, and then on my right is his right is Dom, and then like everybody else is just like spread out. So like not even like 10 or 15 minutes later, like Dom gets like super like just like all on him, like, you know, feeding him macaroni and cheese. And I'm just like, I'm looking and I'm like, am I missing something here? Like, are they the ones dating or are we dating? Because I'm confused. So, yeah, so like that was like starting to upset me. And like Sam and Lamar was noticing it. Like Lamar is very vocal and she was just like, what is going on? Like, whatever. And then Sam was just like pulling me towards him, and like we were taking pictures because this is what Dom did. So Dom decided to like ask one of my best friends just to take a picture of him and Dex. Louise, Dex, and me, like let's take a picture. Like it was him and Dex as if they were together, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, so whatever. So we got over that. I mean, something else happened after that, like when we went to like a bar, but like we don't really need to touch on that. But yeah, so like we got over that. Yeah, we got over that, and then but that was another red flag because I'm just like, did you and fuck before? Like, did you guys have something going on? Because like, it's not uncommon. Like, there's a lot of people that end up like dating or like having sex a few times or once, and then they decide, okay, like I think we're more compatible as being friends, so let's just be friends, and then they don't tell nobody, or they do tell somebody or other people. So I don't know if that was like the case with him and Dom, you know what I mean? So I was just like, I don't know what this weird energy and the sexual tension that you guys have. So like I just don't like it. So I brought it to his attention. Okay, and then mind you, like my best friend had told me that he wanted to actually break up with me before my birthday because he was tired of me feeling insecure or complaining about the way that he was handling his phone. And then he also brought up to me, not my best friend, but my ex brought up to me the fact too that he felt like I was being a hypocrite because he would see that I would put my phone on do not disturb, around him, which would only be like when we're about to go to sleep. Because mind you, my phone, I have a feature on my phone. I mean, a lot of iPhones have this feature where it's called nighttime. So I would put it because I would go to bed at a certain time. I was trying to get into a good sleeping habit. So he took that as me trying to be sneaky, and he would like compare the way he would handle his phone to like him saying, well, I don't say anything about you putting your phone on do not disturb. And I'm like, I don't put my phone on do not disturb. It's a feature on my phone that's called nighttime. So after that, I stopped doing that because I was like, okay, that could come across as me being sketchy or shady or whatever. Then he brought up the fact that I got a notification at 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm like, it was somebody off of Instagram. I'm like, I can't control who hits me up. Like, and I could get that could come across as sketchy and shady as well. But like, I legit wasn't doing anything. And I given him so many opportunities to go through my phone, and he's just like, oh, well, I trust you. Well, I mean, I kind of haven't given you major reasons not to trust me. So I would hope that you would, but, I'm not, let me take that back. I did appreciate that he did trust me, but at the same time, I earned that trust. You know what I mean? He didn't. He broke it so many times. So it's just like you can't sit here and compare my actions with yours when it's just like you keep doing the same thing over and over and you're not really changing your habits. And it's like he tried to say that I didn't change mine, but I did. So anyway, yeah. So then fast forwarding again to his birthday. So I decided to pay it forward and, to be a good boyfriend and like throw him a surprise birthday. So that was cool, but whatever. So no. So this is what happened. So I was staying the night at his house the day before his birthday and like that whole weekend. So I stayed the night at his house. Oh, okay. So then backstory about our relationship. So like one of the major reasons to why I kind of had trust issues with him was because me and him never had sex. I've never had I would say sexual intercourse, if that's the correct term. Like I never got penetrated, and I never penetrated anybody in my life. I've only ever had oral sex, so that was another thing. Like he would always be like, he would eventually want it, but like he never pressured me. He never made it a big deal. And I would always have conversations with him about it, just to make sure that we're on the same page. Like I was always upfront and honest with him since the beginning. I was like, listen, like as of now, like I don't ever think that I'm gonna ever have anal sex. So just like, I just want to let you know if that's something that you're okay with, because if you are, then we can move forward. If you're not, obviously we could go our separate ways, because your needs are different than mine, and that's understandable and that's valid. And he would just always say like, like that's something that I don't really need, like we could revisit this one, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. So fast forward until the night before his birthday. His mom is like very old school. So like when I would stay the night, like I would either sleep on the floor or like he would let me sleep on his bed and he would sleep on the floor next to me. So like, you know, we would always take turns. So like that time I slept on his bed and he slept on the floor. So like he's getting the bed together for me and I'm like laying down. So he's like fluffing our pillows and stuff and like moving everything out the way. And like under his pillow, I find an enema. And I don't know if like a lot of my viewers know what an enema is, but basically it's like a douche for your ass. You know, it's to clean you out. Basically, it's to prepare you for anal sex. Or a lot of people use it to if you're constipating or you need to have bowel movements, right? So with him, I know that he didn't have a constipation problem because he would always be in the bathroom. Like I never heard that that would be an issue for him. And then second thing is like I'm not having anal sex with him. You know what I mean? So I'm not using it and I'm not penetrating him. So what are you using it for? You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. So like I didn't react right away. I'm just like, okay, breathe, Louise. Because I know if I would have reacted, like I would have snapped and walked out. So I was like, breathe, Louise, breathe, breathe, breathe. Use your words. Don't react. Just breathe. So he lays down and we're watching, I don't know what we were watching. We were watching a movie because we loved watching movies together. And I was just like, I was like, I have a question. And he's like, yeah. And mind you, he's like not even looking at me while I'm asking him this. He's like looking at the TV. And I'm just like, why do you have an enema under your pillow? And he's like all nonchalant about it. He was just like, oh, it's to clean myself. And I'm like, to clean yourself for what? And he's just like, yeah, I just use it to like clean myself sometimes. And I'm like, okay. So I let it go. I was like, okay. I was like, it's gonna be his birthday weekend. Like, let me just be, you know, like I said, pay it forward. Like he did, so even though my birthday didn't go as planned, like he still did it out of the kindness of his heart, and he didn't have to do any of that. Like he spent a whole bunch of time and money, and it was from the kindness of his heart. So I was like, let me do something for him because I love him, and this is my boyfriend, and it's his birthday. So I was like, so I put it on the back burner. But I was like, I'm gonna bring this back up. Like once his birthday is over, like I'm not letting this slide. So yeah, so anytime that he would go out with like his best friend Dom, like he had no issue with going to like the neighborhood and like going to gay bars and like he would love going to like Taboo with him or whatever, but he would just always say like, oh, I'm tired of going there, but like he would always go like no matter what with his friend because he just wanted to do what his friend wanted to do. I'm like, okay, cool. So like um for my backtrack for my birthday, like which I said I wasn't gonna talk about like when we went to the bar, but like he acted like he didn't want to go, and I'm just like, okay, but any other time that you're with your friend, you go with no problem. So like when we got there, he was like just being very standoffish and like, but I know the reason he was acting standoffish as well was just because I was already feeling some type of way because of like how Dom was acting towards him. Sorry, y'all. I keep like forgetting like I'm leaving stuff out. So like he was also acting standoffish because apparently he knew this guy. Like this guy used to try to talk to him and he never gave him the time of the day. So like the guy was like when we got there, it was like it's so much like Sam and my other friend Nathan was like already waiting for us at the bar. Like they were at my dinner, but like they were waiting for us at the bar. And like me, Dom, and Dax had came into the bar. And like I was already pissed off like about the whole situation with him and Dom, like how they were acting. So like I already wanted to go home and I had expressed that to both of them. And I was like, I just want to go in and say bye to like Sam and Nate because like I just don't want to go home and like not say anything to them or whatever. And like they already knew what was going on, but like I just wanted to say bye. So like my intent was just like to go in and say bye or whatever. So like I stayed to talk to them for a little bit. So like Dom decided to go get himself and Dex a drink. Like he didn't even buy me a drink, didn't offer me a drink. And mind you, I don't need anybody to buy me a drink, but you would think like, okay, it's my birthday. Like you came for my birthday. Like you would think that he would at least have the common courtesy to be like, hey, like, do you want a drink, Luis? Or like even if I had to pay for it, like nothing. Like so he just went to go get him and Dex a drink, and then mind you, like not only are you getting you guys a drink, but like you completely disregarded the fact that I said that I wanted to go home. Like I like now I have to wait until you guys are done drinking for me to leave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, mind you, like they probably took it as like, okay, well, he's sitting down talking to his friends, so like let me get a drink. But like no one even bothered to ask me. So I'm just like, okay. So that pissed me off as well. So like I'm already sitting down with like Nate and Sam, and like it's one table, and like Dex is like standing like in the table next to me with like kind of like his body language just like he doesn't want to be bothered by me. So like I kept trying to like pull him close to me, and like he would like kind of like brush me off, trying to act like as if like we were not together, or like he was mad. And I'm just like, okay. So then this guy backtracked, like the guy that I just told you that he was like that he knew or whatever, like he was complimenting like our outfits or whatever. He was like, oh, what's the occasion? So Sam spoke for me. He was like, oh, it's my best friend's birthday, but whatever. So the guy was like, oh, let me buy you a drink, but whatever. And I didn't want to drink, and I was like, I kept saying no, no, whatever. So like you would think that Dex would like intervene and be like, hey, like my man said no, like leave him alone, he doesn't want to drink or whatever, right? No, my best friend had to intervene and say like, hey, like he just said no, leave him alone, like if he doesn't want to drink, he doesn't want to drink. So like Dex decides to like go all the way across the other side of the bar with Dom, and I'm just like, so I went over there. I'm like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, it's too crowded over there. And I'm like, okay. So that pissed me off. So then he came back, and then he ended up telling me like, oh yeah, like I don't like that guy. He tried to talk to me about whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But like in my head, I was just like, but like you could have just said that instead of you going to the other side of the bar, like. So then the guy still ended up giving me a drink. So at that point, I was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna take the drink, and I took it. And like I guess that was shady, but like still like they already had pissed me off, and they were already doing shady shit the whole night. So I was like, fuck it. Like so that's like what happened in the bar. So that's why he was upset too, because of that situation, because he he ended up telling me later on that night that he felt like I was entertaining the guy and that I was playing in his face, because the guy used to try to talk to him, and he didn't like the guy. So like I should have never took the drink. But I'm like, okay, well, you never stood up for you never stood up to him as my boyfriend anyway. So like, you know what I mean? And then mind you, like when he got to the bar, he walked around and said hi to his people, and he never introduced me as his man. So I'm just like, so you want me to sit here and respect you and like decline this man's drink because you felt some type of way towards him or you didn't like him, but then you're over here trying to act like we're not even together. And mind you, you didn't want to go to the bar in the first place. So yeah. Fast forwarding again to his birthday, like Sam was like, oh, we should go do something, like we can't let this night be go over, like let's go to the neighborhood. And Dex was just like, oh, like I mean we can, but like I'm not trying to go to Taboo, or like I'm not trying to go like I'm gonna go to a bar that no like we don't know about, like basically. So we ended up going to this other bar that I never been to. But I thought that that was a red flag too, because I'm just like, why is it that you're okay with going to Taboo or the neighborhood any other time with your friends, but like when it comes to me, it's a problem. Like, okay. So that on top of me finding the enema, you know, we talked about the enema again, and he was just like, oh, that he uses it to clean himself, and that, you know, he promises that nobody is going back there. Like all of this BS. And I was just like, okay. Me giving him the benefit of the doubt again, I'm like, okay. So, you know, after that, it was Monday, because like the last time that I stayed the night was on a Sunday. So it was Monday, I was at work, and for a few days I was just acting like something was off. And I just didn't really trust what he was saying to me because he's lied to me before. So I wanted to add in also, when I had confronted him about the enema, you know, he did tell me that he uses it to clean himself, like I stated, and that he's done it like ever since like his, you know, I think he said college days or something like that. And you know, to play devil's advocate, to give him the benefit of the doubt, like when I look back at it, maybe he did use it to clean himself because for whatever reason he wanted to be clean. I don't know. But I feel like I was done with the benefit of the doubts and done with the explanations and done trying to figure out why he did certain things, you know what I mean? Like I was just tired of playing Carmen Sandiego and Inspector Gadget with him. Um and to me, like, this is just my opinion when it comes to that. I just feel like that's something that you should tell your partner, you know what I mean? Instead of having me be surprised and then assume something that could have been incorrect, but it's just kind of like that on top of everything else. I was just like, I was tired of giving him the benefit of the doubt. So, I feel like I had brought conversations up about, you know, anal sex and then enemas, and it's just like there was been plenty of opportunities where he could have brought up the fact that he used enemas to clean himself, and he never did. So it was just kind of like at that point when I saw that, and after everything that already transpired in our relationship, I was just like done. Like I didn't care what the reason was, to be honest with you. So yeah. He cheated on me before, and then now I'm seeing an enema under your pillow. Oh, then mind you, backtrack. So like, you know how everybody has their honeymoon phases. So like with him, it would just always be like in the beginning of the relationship, he would be on me, like blah blah whatever, and then like towards the end of our relationship, like he wasn't like really like affectionate. Like I would always be the one having to initiate things, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like the oral stuff, because we weren't having penetrative sex. So I would ask him, I'm like, oh, is it because like we're not having anal sex? Like what is it? He would always just say like no, and like he would always like make excuses and say like, oh, it's because like sometimes when I smack your butt in public, you don't like it. And I'm like, it was a joke like one time that I was like, stop. Like, you know how girls like be like, stop. Like, that's how I was with him. Like, and he took it serious. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But like, he would make like dumb like excuses like that. And I'm just like, okay, well. And then he was like, it was just like a lot of dumb excuses that he kept making for like not being intimate with me. And then like, there was a point in our relationship towards the end, like, he was just like glowing. I'm like, who's making you glow? Because it ain't me. So, whatever. So, yeah, so then on top of that, um there was another situation that came up that one of his friends that he was like cool with, not cool with, like he automatically said like, oh, we're not friends, we're acquaintances, was just like he had made a comment saying like, oh, your boyfriend is cute, like to him, or his outfit was cute. I don't know what it was, but like the guy kept looking at my stories and I was just like, who are you, right? And apparently it was his friend or his ex-friend or whatever. So something didn't sit right. This was the same week that I wasn't feeling it. I was like, something didn't sit right with me and this guy, and I was just like, okay, what is the relationship that you guys had? Like, what like who is it? And he was like, oh, like they used to be really close, and then they start like then they dated, but then they didn't work out, and then they were close, and then they're not close anymore. Blah blah X, Y, and Z. And mind you, I had asked him that question like a few times throughout the day, and he kept trying to like evade it. So I was already getting pissed off, and then he got pissed off because I reacted. But it's just like I shouldn't have to ask you the same question 3 times and like whatever. So yeah, so like I kept watching myself or whatever. So then fast forward again, I decided, I was like, you know what? I was like, there's been too many instances, like mind you, we were dating from May and this was February. So it would have been a year this month. I was like, we were going through too much of the same type of issues when it came to like loyalty and me suspecting that he wasn't being faithful to me. Like it wasn't like me having an issue with like the way he handled his money or the way he spoke to me, or like him having an issue with me because of this or X, Y, and Z. Like, yeah, he would have an issue with me sometimes because sometimes like my communication is good to a certain extent. Like sometimes I would shut down and I wouldn't want to talk about a certain problem that I was having or a certain situation that I was going through right then and there or the same day, because I like to process things, and he's not like that. Like he likes to like nip it in the bud right then and there, and I'm not like that sometimes. So like we would clash when it comes to that, but then like we came to a mutual understanding. But like stuff like that I can handle. Like if it's like disagreements between a couple, and like when it comes to like us doing shadow work and like trauma from our past and us trying to grow, like I can handle that. But when it comes to like core values, like you cheating on me and you like not respecting me, like that doesn't fly with me. And I already let it slide twice, so there wasn't gonna be a third time for me. So I decided like, okay, this relationship, like we have to end this, because at this point, like it just wasn't fair. Like I didn't trust him anymore, and there was no point of me being in a relationship with somebody that I didn't trust. Like it wasn't fair for him, it wasn't fair for me. So I broke up with him. I told him how I felt about that, and like he just kept. At first, he was just like he was really like upset about it. He was just like, I'm not gonna fight for this. Like I'm not gonna fight for for your trust, and like he said a whole bunch of other stuff that I was just like, okay. And I was like, okay, cool. And like obviously I was hurt, but I was just like I felt relieved because I'm like, okay, like this should have happened a long time ago. So then, mind you, the guy was still watching my stuff, blah, whatever. So then Dex was still trying to talk to me, like still trying to be in a relationship with me after we broke up. And I was just like, no, I'd rather be friends. And then he was just like, he's like, then he kept saying, I don't understand. Like, if you had an issue with, because I brought up because he was still handling his phone the same way since the beginning of our relationship. So I broke up with him because of that, because of the enema, because of the whole him not putting me on social media, and because of him like trying to act like he was only fine with going out with his friends to the neighborhood but not with me. So like it was just like all of that I was just like one thing on top of the other, and I was just like no. And then the whole Billy thing like didn't seem right to me. Sorry, kind of gave it away, but yeah, the whole guy thing that was watching my stories didn't sit right with me. So then I ended up finding out after I had conversations with him of him trying to get back with me, and he finally ended up confessing that the guy that he was texting back in October, the Billy guy, is the same guy that has been watching my stories, who till this day is still watching my stories. Hello, hi, how are you? Till this day is still watching my stories. This is the same guy that he was cheating on me with, or that he was talking to, or whatever the case may be. Like, still cheating, because whether it was physical or not, like you were still entertaining him while you were in a relationship with me. This is the same guy that's on my stories, and I'm just like watching my stories consistently back to back. He would be like the first or second person, as if he was like had my notifications up. And I was just like, then he kept trying to make it an excuse and say, well, your friends follow me on social media, so I don't understand what's the big deal of my friend looking at your stories. And I was like, first of all, my friends that follow you on social media or that look at your stories have met you numerous of times, at least more than once. This guy that you used to talk to, because the stories kept changing up. First you said that you guys were friends, then you said that you guys were talking, blah blah, X, Y, and Z. He never met me. He doesn't know me from a can of paint. All he knows is that I was with you, and that you decided to post me. And then that's when all that shit started happening, when he was looking at my stuff, right? And mind you, then another thing that made it another red flag was that they weren't even friends on social media. So it's just like he was watching my stuff for what? To keep tabs on you, obviously. And he was mad because we're in a relationship. He was either jealous because you guys were still talking, or he was jealous because he still liked you and he wanted to keep tabs on you. Like, whatever the case may be, I wasn't with it. So yeah, he ended up confessing that yeah, that was Billy. It was the same guy from back in October that he was texting, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't even respond to that text. I was just like, whatever. So another confirmation for me from a psychic who read my birth chart probably like a month or two before I broke it off with my ex. I had another reading from her, and she confirmed that he was cheating on me. So that was just like it for me, because I took very much what she said to be valid, on top of everything else that I was going through. And a lot of stuff that she said in my previous reading was accurate. So I was like, out of all these things, and on top of everything else that I was feeling and seeing, why would this not be accurate? So like that kind of like pushed my decision more to like break things off with him. Then fast forwarding up until like a month ago, maybe so, he tried to get back with me again, and I was just like, no, like, like I need space. Like we can be friends eventually, but we're not gonna get back together. He didn't respond. Mind you, on Instagram, I kept posting stuff from my Twitter, and mind you, I never knew that he had a Twitter. So like, I decided to be nosy because I'm a natural investigator and I'm curious as fuck. So I was just like, let me, I'm not gonna lie, I was missing him. So I was like, he hasn't been active on Instagram. So I was like, I feel like he has a Twitter. So I found his Twitter, and he was tweeting normal stuff. And then I kept scrolling down. Mind you, this was, I think, a few days before he asked me to get back with him. He went out on a date. And I'm like, okay, so you're still trying to play me and we're not even together? Like, are you joking? Mind you, I wasn't even upset at the fact that he went on a date, because we're not together and we weren't together a month ago. So you could do whatever your heart desires, because honestly, like right after we like stop dating, like I got on Tinder because I was just like, I'm about to pull an Ariana Grande and a J-Lo. Like I'm about to find a new man, and it is what it is. So I wasn't upset that he went on a date. What upset me is that, like I said, you're still trying to play me and we're not even together. Like, why would you go out on a date and then try to get back with me a few days later? Like, are you fucking joking? And then, mind you, another thing that upset me is like, I know him and I know that he's not gonna go on a random date with no random ass dude. Like, he's not like that. So like, this had to be somebody from his past or somebody that he was already had a rapport with, or somebody that he was already entertaining either while we were in a relationship or right before that. So I was just like, whatever. Another alibi, like his last alibi, the last and final time that we broke up, he was just like, you know, how would I be cheating on you when I introduced you to my family and you've been over my house and I would have never introduced you to my mom, X, Y, and Z. Like, and I'm just like, I'm like, and then he's just like, you know, the stuff I want to be doing, like the stuff that I do for you. And I was like, do you not know how many men and women introduce their significant others to their family and they live in each other's houses, they have kids, they have so much things that, you know, so much ties and they still cheat? Like, what type of excuse are you giving me that would actually make me believe you? Because your actions have spoken volumes throughout the whole relationship. So it's just like you really try to hit me with that last excuse. Like that was supposed to be your last hooray. Like I was just like, are you joking? Like I've seen my friends in relationships that they've been cheating on and their lives were so tied together. Like my parents were together and they had kids. They had, you know, houses together, and my dad still stepped out on my mom. So it was just kind of like, you telling me this is just like really not doing anything. So that's why I'm single and that's why I'm no longer with him. You know, I wish him the best. I did try to reach out to him, but apparently I'm blocked, which is fine because I had blocked him on Twitter before that because I felt like he got a Twitter to keep tabs on me. And I ended up proving the point. It ended up being true because Twitter puts people on blast. Like when you go to someone's page, as you guys know, it will tell you that this person blocked you. So I was like, I was with Sam one day and I was like, let me prove my point. So I went to his page and he blocked me. And the only reason why he blocked me was because I blocked him. But he would have never known that I blocked him unless he was already looking at my page. So that's what he was doing. He was looking at my page. I'm like, okay. Mind you, I know the whole Twitter thing might sound a little hypocritical or a little contradicting, but like I said, the only reason why I went on his Twitter was because I had a feeling that, you know, the only reason he was on Twitter was to keep tabs on me, like, because I wasn't being active on IG, you know what I mean? And I felt like it was true because, like I said, like, how would he have known that I blocked him unless he was already looking at my page, you know? So yeah, so that's the reason why I blocked him because I was like, you don't need to be seeing what the fuck I'm doing anyway. Like, you know what I mean? And plus, there was like just certain things that I was posting on there that I was like, I don't want him to like see because like we just got out of a relationship and, you know, like I was living my single life. So I didn't want him to see certain things because at the end of the day, like, I still cared. Like, I didn't want him to feel some type of way, even though I shouldn't have cared. But I don't know. That's how I am sometimes. Like, even when people do me wrong, I'm just like, oh no, like, I gotta spare some of their feelings. But, like, whatever. I guess I should have, like, never blocked him and, like, just let him see whatever. But, yeah. And we're not friends on social media at all. And I think he blocked me on his phone. But I'm just like, okay. But, you know, I wish him the best. Like, obviously, you know, I want him to be happy. And he wasn't like besides the cheating part and the lies, like he was a good boyfriend. Like he did try to like appease to me and like he did show me his love languages that really didn't work as compatible with mine, but like he did try. But like when it came to like his faithfulness, he just he didn't have it, you know, and hopefully one day he does, and whoever he ends up dating or getting married with or whatever the case may be, hopefully he becomes a better man for that person. But me and him is he just wasn't for me and I wasn't for him. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching.